Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time stopping by, welcome. My name is Ganiyat. I'm a final year pharmacy student in Obafemi Awolowo University, ile-ife, Osun State, Nigeria. And if you're a returning subscriber, OG, you know the vibes, you know how we roll. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. Thank you so much for always supporting the channel. In today's video, I'll be talking about how I got into OAU pharmacy. Without further ado, guys, let's get right into the video. So guys, this is a story time. This is just me gisting with you guys, like gisting you guys how I got admission into pharmacy school in OAU. So I'll be starting from my final year in high school. I attended Federal Government College, Ikirun, in Osun State. Here, it is a boarding school. Like I attended a boarding school for my senior secondary school. So I wrote my first JAMB when I was in SS3, and I had a little above 200. And usually 200 is the cut off for most university. So I passed my JAMB. Yeah. So I passed the criteria for most universities for JAMB since I had above 200. Now I had WAHEC to face. Guys, to be honest, I can't remember how I felt during that period, because if we are being honest, it's been a long time since I went through that phase. Like it's been so long. So I can't really remember how I felt during that period. I can't remember if I was happy, if I was sad, if I was tense, if I was confident. To be honest, I can't remember at all. But I shall wrote my WAEC. Sha. I wrote my WAEC and I wrote my NECO too, and I finished secondary school. Those of you that are not Nigerian, secondary school is the same thing as high school. So if you hear me saying secondary school, what I'm implying is high school. After secondary school, I registered for Unilag post-UTME because with my JAMB, I chose Unilag as first choice, and Unilag as first choice and OAU as second choice. So I registered for Unilag post-UTME. I went to write the exam, and guess what? I failed. I failed Unilag post-UTME. After the post-UTME thing, there is this exam that is called GCE. I can't remember the full meaning, but there is this exam called GCE. It is usually written in SS2. But remember I told you guys I went to a boarding school. So there was no way the school was going to release any student to go and write GCE. So I wasn't able to write GCE in SS2. But most of my mates in my former school, like the school I attended for my junior secondary school, that's First Coast Comprehensive Academy, most of them wrote GCE, and I was really interested in writing GCE. And so I told my dad I wanted to write GCE, and since he wanted me to write it too, he registered GCE for me. After registering for the exam, my dad went to register me in a GCE tutorial, The name of the tutorial is Rise Up Tutorial. I think the name has been changed to Rise Up Academy now. I can't really, I am not so sure, but Rise Up Tutorial. At that time, it was called Rise Up Tutorial, not Academy. The reason why my dad went to register me for the tutorial was I felt like if I attended the tutorial, I'll be able to mingle with people and even learn more things aside from what I learned from secondary school. And he had the opinion that the more you sit at home, the more your brain becomes dull, or something that has to do with that nature. So he registered me for a GC tutorial, and I attended the GC tutorial. To be honest, I attended for a few months, then I sat for the GC exam. And mind you guys, during the GC exam, my WAEC results came out and I passed my WAEC results. Yeah, it was during GC my WAEC results came out and I passed. So guys, remember I told you that I chose Unilag as first choice, OAU as second choice. After GCE, like after writing my GCE exam, I went back to that same tutorial center to attend their post-UTME tutorial also. I remember I did not really attend that for long. After attending the post-UTME lesson, for a couple of weeks or days. I went to write OAU post CTME, and guys, I failed again. So after failing the second post CTME, I knew for sure, that I had just two options. Either I went for a diploma or a pre-degree program, or I waited and I waited another year to write JAMB. But my parents chose waiting another year to write JAMB. I had to look forward to writing JAMB the following year. My dad went to register me for Rise Up JAMB tutorial, since they already decided that I was going to take JAMB again. The tutorial took about 6 months or so. Along the line, I registered for my JAMB, and that was the year that CBT was first introduced. Like, that was the first time they introduced CBT, and because I wasn't, like, I was not sure what the CBT test would look like. The CBT means computer based test. I wasn't sure what the computer based test would look like, so I just went with the option of paper based test. Like, we had the option of registering for either computer or paper based, so I went with the option of paper based, since I wrote paper based test the previous year. So I registered for the JAMB and I was posted to my exam center. And I forgot to add, anyone that knows Rise Up Tutorial Center, please, if you are watching this video and you know Rise Up Tutorial Center, that is around Water Bus Stop before you get to Moshalashi in Lagos, if you know Rise Up Tutorial Center, please put it down in the comment section. Like, I would love to know, in case I see anybody that knows Rise Up Tutorial Center. Like, if you know Rise Up Tutorial Center very well, guys, you will know how efficient and diligent their teachers are. Like, that decision of going to Rise Up was one of the best decisions my parents made for me during that 1 year, because, guys, we did several mock exams. When I say several, I mean several mock exams and tests, just to prepare us for the JAMB. There were times we even attended tutorials on Sundays, like, just to, give us extra lessons and all of that. Guys, the exam day came and I was extremely prepared, guys. Extremely prepared, if I do so to myself. So the exam day came, and my eldest brother took me to the exam center. And guys, the moment my brother took me to the exam center and he went, like, he left, the moment I entered into the exam center, guys, my worst nightmare happened. If you're a Nigerian, you should know what expo means. I think the center was an expo center. The center was just so disorganized. Guys, to cut the long story short, I was made to write an exam of 2 hours 30 minutes or 3 hours. I can't remember how many hours JAMB was. Whatever the hours was, either 2 hours 30 minutes, 3 hours, or 3 hours 30 minutes. Guys, I was made to write that exam in 1 hour 30 minutes. 1 hour 30 minutes. I almost cried. Like, and we're forced to submit. Guys, I almost cried. Like, hey God, listen, now I can smile, but it was not funny at the point. So, like, I just knew it was going to take the grace of God to pass that exam. Like, it was going to take just the grace of God to pass that exam. So sad then. Like, at that point, I wish someone had just told me to choose the CBT, like the computer-based tests. But at the end of the day, I knew there was nothing I could do, and all I was just doing was I was just praying to Almighty Allah and hoping that a miracle happens. Like, cause I knew it was only a miracle that would make me pass an exam that I did not even finish. Like, I didn't finish it at all. So you guys remember I wrote GCE, right? And my results came out, I think, few days after JAMB. My results came out around that period, so, and I aced it beautifully. I had A's, B's, and I think I had just one C4 in Yoruba or so. I had C4 in Yoruba. So at that point, I had something to be happy about, at least. So eventually, JAMB results came out and I failed, even though I had very close to the cutoff mark. Like, I had close to 200, I had 190 something, but the truth is, I failed. And my parents were sad, I was sad, like, everybody was sad. Let's just put it down. We were all sad. My parents were especially sad because they knew the amount of effort I put into studying for that particular JAMB exam. Like, they knew how much I read and all of that. But alhamdulillah, I failed, but we are sure alive. Since I failed the JAMB, I already knew that there was no way on earth that I would be able to get into pharmacy school with 190 something, because I didn't think there was any school that was going to accept 190 something. Oh, OOU, yes. I remember OOU cutoff then was 180. So I don't know how my dad did it, but I know he registered me for OOU Oshitemi exam, and I went to write the exam with a family friend. Yeah, at that point, I went to write the exam with a family friend. I can't remember how the results. I knew the results came out when I was in pre-degree. I don't know if I think I passed, but we're not giving pharmacy something that has to do with that nature. I am not like I can't really remember. Backstory, guys. When I got to PD, let me just say this. When I got to PD, I was hoping that I was going to leave PD early to go to OOU since I wrote the Akusitemi. But unfortunately, I think when that I was told that maybe they gave me another course, or I said I did not get pharmacy sha. So baseline, I didn't get pharmacy. And mind you, I chose Unilag. Like this second jam that I wrote and failed, I chose Unilag again. So I just knew that there was no way out. I had to like look for a way out for myself. So I told my dad that there was no way I was going to stay at home for another year. I told him I wanted to go for diploma in Unilag, but my dad told me that he could not afford it at that point. And one of my brothers also suggested that I went abroad to school, but my dad refused. Guys, at this point, I was experiencing all form of sadness, guys. Any form of sadness you could think of, I was experiencing it at that time because I was at home. Like I was still struggling to gain admission, and at that point, like my mates, my secondary school mates, most of them had gained admission. In fact, some of them were in 200 level going to 300 level, and here I was still struggling to gain admission. Guys, I was that period was a sad period for me. I was thinking that was the worst period ever. Not knowing that the Shege Pro Max I will see face in school was still there. Guys, I will get that. One of my brothers was doing his masters in OAU at the point, and he told my dad about OAU pre-degree program, that I could register for the pre-degree program, and my dad asked my brother to register for me. And guys, remember I chose Unilag for during my first and second JAMB, even though I chose OAU for my first JAMB, but I chose OAU as second choice, and I knew for sure that OAU was never going to accept second choice. So it was just to fulfill all righteousness of filling that space. So guys, at this point, Unilag was my dream school, guys. It was my dream school. Like I wanted to go to Unilag so bad. When my dad told my brother to register me for OAU pre-degree exam, I told my dad point blank that I don't want to go to OAU, so I'm not going to read for this pre-degree exam. And my dad just said, whether you read or not, just go and write the exam. Day finally came. I went for the exam with my cousin, and her cousin. I did the exam with my residual knowledge. To be honest, I did not read. I did the exam with my residual knowledge, thinking that maybe I was going to fail, and my daddy would not have a choice than to pay for the diploma exam. The diploma program in Unilag. Guys, OAU pre-degree entrance exam results came out, and I passed. You know what that means? I have to attend OAU pre-degree. So at this point, I did not have a choice. I eventually went to OAU pre-degree. Guys, pre-degree was another phase of my life. Like, I read like I wanted to die. Like, guys, I read so much because I knew that at that point, I had no choice. Like, I had absolutely no choice. I had to read. I had to do everything in order to gain admission into OAU to study pharmacy. So guys, I put in everything, like everything I had to read for that PD exams. Like I gave it my whole. And also, to be honest, I can't talk about my pedigree program without thanking certain people. Like aside from my parents, my siblings, like I have some amazing people in my life. Guys, Larry, Mubarak, and Haywire. Guys, Larry came all the way from. Larry was in I think part 2 then in OAU. Larry came all the way from Ife. Part 2 pharmacy, also he was in pharmacy. So Larry came all the way from Ife to Moro. OAU Pedigree Center is in Moro. Larry came all the way from Ife to Moro to teach me physics. Guys, AY too came. I remember AY was in Part 1 pharmacy then, OAU. AY came from Ife to Moro. Mubarak was always calling me to ask how was my test, how was my exam. He also did pedigree, so he was able to give me insights on this is what you should do, this is how you should read, this is what God. Guys, if you are watching this, AY, Mubarak, and Larry, trust me, I know you guys might not even remember what you guys did for me, but I really do appreciate it, and thank you guys. Thank you for coming through for me then, and thank you for still always coming through for me. Like, I really do appreciate you guys. I know I might not say it often or whatever, but to be honest, I appreciate you guys. Like, you guys were one of the reasons why I was able to like continue reading so hard like that, even when it wasn't convenient. Thank you so much. So guys, during the pre-degree program, I registered for JAMB. This time around, I registered for computer-based test. Once beaten, twice shy. I could not risk it though. I could not risk the paper-based test this time around. I just registered for computer-based test. JJ. And guys, to God be the glory, I passed my JAMB. I finished the degree, I went back home, I registered for OAU post UTME and I did the exam and I passed excellently. In fact, I passed like excellently. I passed very well. And when the PD results came out, so guys, I passed the PD results excellently too. And if you participate in OAU pedigree program, you will have the opportunity to gain admission either through PD or either through the pedigree program or through the post UTME. But since I passed both post UTME and pedigree program excellently, I wasn't even bothered. I sure knew that whether they like it or not, I was going to gain admission to study pharmacy in OAU. Like, there was nothing anybody could do. I was definitely going to gain admission that year in OAU, so I wasn't really bothered. So when the cutoff eventually came out and I think admission was given, I didn't even know, to be honest. I did not know. I remember vividly it was Stanka that called me to ask if I was admitted into pharmacy. And Stanka was also a student in OAU at the point. She was studying pharmacy, so she knew that they had started giving out admissions and all of that. I mean, I just said that, Stanka, I don't know. I shall know that I passed my post-jam by my PD, so I know that whether they like it or not, they'll give me admission. So she asked me to send my JAMB details or whatever they were using to check admission status at that point. I think it was JAMB details. She asked me to send it and she checked for me, and a few minutes later she sent me a message on, I think, WhatsApp that had already been given admission to study pharmacy in OAU. I'm sure Sanka might not even remember these guys. I'm very sure she might not even remember that she was the one that checked for me, and she was the one that told me that I had already gained admission. So Sanka, if you are watching this, thank you so much. Thank you for being such an amazing soul. Thank you. Guys, that night I was so happy. I remember I told my parents, I told my siblings, I was so happy. I was shouting, I was rejoicing. And I remember my nephew, he was like 2 or 3 years old then. He was shouting with me, he was rejoicing with me, even though he didn't understand what was going on. He just knew his auntie was happy and he was also happy for me. Guys, that day was a memorable day for me. Like, that night was a memorable one for me. Knowing I gained admission to study pharmacy in OAU. Guys, if you know how difficult it was at that point to enter OAU, I don't know, I think it's still difficult, but I don't know. But OAU was a very difficult place to enter at that point. So a school I wasn't even putting my mind to, and I gained admission into it. Guys, I was so happy. My parents were happy, my brothers were happy, everybody around me was just happy for me. Even my friends, they were happy for me. Like, it was such a memorable night. Guys, this was the story of how I gained admission to study pharmacy in OAU. It was a long one, guys. It was a long, this summary that I gave, like, this thing took, I think, 3 years. Yes, I think 3 years, if I'm not mistaken. So it was such a long one. I would have loved to make a video on how to gain admission into OAU, but the truth is, it's been a long time I gained admission, and I feel like a lot of things would have changed. Like, certain things would have changed in exam patterns and even the whole admission process. So unfortunately, I I wouldn't be able to make that kind of video. I've come to the end of this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the story time as much as I enjoyed few minutes. Thank you so much for watching this video up to this point. If you are yet to subscribe, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell like notification so that each time I post a video, you'll be the first to get notified. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, guys. Give it a thumbs up. This really helps my video to reach more people. And make sure you leave a comment down below if you can relate to the whole stress of JAMB, post-UTME and all of that. Thank you so much for watching my video. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.